Hey friends, my name is Matt Reisinger. I'm a contractor down in Austin, Texas, but you might know me from the Build Show on YouTube and buildshownetwork.com. On this video, I've got 3 tips for a successful Marvin window install. So first off, my relationship with Marvin goes way back. When I started my company in 2005, I'd been building for 10 years for other people. In my very first house as a custom builder, I put Marvin windows in and have used them a ton ever since. Okay, before I get to my tips, I want to tell you though that no matter the manufacturer, no matter the brand, what I've found over the years is that if we want a successful window install, we need to make sure that we install correctly, because what I've seen in the field is that 90% of the window problems out there are not a manufacturer's problem, but an install problem, meaning windows that leak, windows that don't operate properly. Certainly, there are some manufacturer issues out there over the years, but the majority of the issues are install related. So take these 3 tips and do a top-notch install. Tip number 1, be sure to read the manufacturer's directions the day before you get started on the install. This isn't the day of. You really need to make sure, whether you're the builder, whether you're the superintendent, the head framer, the lead carpenter, that you've read in a quiet spot the full directions on the exact product you're installing. You know, for instance, in the Marvin catalog, you've got a bunch of different options. You've got different install varieties depending on the actual Marvin product. You might even have some different nailing flanges, some slightly different ways to waterproof the flanges, that sort of thing. So we really want to read those the night before when it's quiet in the office. This has been a big key to my success over the years. Number 2, perform a mock-up on site. Before we start installing windows, I always gather the entire crew and I say, okay guys, together, let's install one window as a team so we can see how this works together and make sure that we've got the details correct. And frankly, make sure I've got all the materials correct. You know, do I have the proper shims? Do I have the right weatherproofing? Does the flashing tape work with my WRB? Do I have everything right? And then when we gather together, you know, there's 4 or 5 people around, let's say, if we have a bigger crew. Together we talk through those details, we do that one install. Now that window is your job site mock-up so that you can come back to that later. So maybe you leave, you're the head person on the job, or you're the builder, you leave your subs on the job. They can refer back to that and go, now how do we do that sill pan again? Or how do we finish that flashing tape? Whatever it is, they can go back to that mock-up. And number 3, follow best practices for your weather-resistant barrier. I said earlier in the video that most of the problems when it comes to windows, especially when we think about leaks or issues like that, 90% of that is the install itself. We want to make sure that we're using a sill pan. And we also want to make sure that all of our WRB products, I think, should be from the same manufacturer. We really should have a system that's intended to work together. But no matter what you do for sill pan, whether it's a flexible flashing, whether it's a fluid applied flashing, whatever, let's make sure that we've got a good waterproof sill pan in that rough opening. And then next, when we actually finish the install of the window, be sure that if you've got a Marvin product that requires, for instance, corner pads, if you've got a folding vinyl flange on your Marvin window, make sure those corner pads are installed. And then if you've got a tape that you're using that complies with your WRB, you know, for instance, if you've got Huber zip system, make sure you've got the Huber zip system tape. And I also like to run my tape over top of my window frame as well. So for instance, if we are making a sill pan, I'm going to leave the tape off the bottom of the sill so I've got some ability to weep any potential water that gets in there out of that front flashing area. Next, I'm going to put my jam flashing on the right and the left-hand sides of the windows, and I'm going to overlap that onto the frame. And then very last, I'm going to put my head flashing tape on. And again, I'm going to overlap that onto my frame. That way, everything is done in shingle fashion. Knowing that gravity is going to be pulling that water down, we want to really make sure that we're taking advantage of that gravity. Guys, if you follow these 3 tips, you buy a high quality window like Marvin makes, you're gonna have a window that's gonna be in that house for many decades to come. And for sure, when my kids or your kids go to remodel that house, they're gonna thank us for doing that top-notch install. Guys, thanks for watching this video. For more info, of course, you can go to the Marvin website, or if you wanna see a bunch of window install videos, You can check out all the videos we've got over on thebuildshow.com. See you later.